Cool.
All right, welcome into another episode of the Hawk's Nest of Peak Performers, podcast where I gather together high performers from various fields, and we have conversations that seek to empower people to pursue their passions. I am Ryan, the RyBred Hawks, and today I have very super special guest for me, Galen, the SoundGuy Firestone.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome in.
Super,
Yes.
very special. You're all flattering me. Come on.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, and it's not just because you have you're the first guest that also has a kind of like me, Ryan the RyBred, Galen the SoundGuy. So that kind of makes me feel a little bit nice to be able to introduce somebody. But I mean, you are very special, a very special friend of mine. So I'm super glad to have been able to get you on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, nice. So obviously, of course, I know a lot about you. I don't want to say everything, but I know a lot, but the listeners do not. So tell us about yourself.
Well, I am a sound guy. I'm a sound effects editor and engineer currently living in Honolulu, Hawaii. Formerly of Los Angeles and prior to that, New York City. I have about 10 years in professional audio, including including two Creative Arts Emmy nominations for my work on the series Fargo. I don't know how I did not get that sentence out. I'm actually very proud of that. It is a mouthful, and usually I'm better at saying it. I guess I haven't had a chance to say it in a while. Things have been way more chill like here than in LA. In LA, you got to be like, I must give flex, and here it's just like, what's up?
Yeah. Honolulu, man. Yeah, so recent move over there. I know I talked to you a little bit about it, but how's that been?
Oh, great. I moved here a little under 3 months ago now, and first thing that got me, and I actually stopped by this place today. Right around the corner, there's this coffee shop from me,
right?
And the barista there, Max, she immediately starts like actually trying to like learning my name and getting to know me and recognizing, me as a human being, which. Have you ever had that happen like in any other coffee place ever?
Yeah, kind of.
Really?
Yeah, I was actually very surprised because I've moved a few times and
yeah,
I shouldn't even say it, but I will anyway. So I'm a Starbucks guy. I do like Starbucks. Consistency.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, consistency. So, I've had a few different Starbucks in my time and I go there a lot. So I had one at my old place, my workplace, and everywhere. No one's known me, but at this one by my place now, they've gotten to know me by name, and they say, "Hey, Ryan, how you doing?" And kind of, and it seems authentic too. It's not just a like customer service,
right?
Oh, Ryan, trying to gas you up, but it's a real like, "Hey, how you doing? How's your day been, Ryan?" and stuff. So it kind of hit me. But I mean, you're from LA, which is, I mean, San Diego is, I'm trying to get out of here too, because it's very fast paced. But I mean, LA is a whole nother story, right?
Yeah, LA is just ridiculous. I've been living back and forth between LA and New York pretty much my whole life. First came out to LA for the very first time in 1988.
Right.
Turned right back around, went back to New York for all of my high school years, back to LA, back to New York, and then back to LA.
Right.
This last time was the longest stretch I've been there for 12-ish years, give or take.
Yeah.
And it got to be too much. Like everyone is just so like self-focused, and it's almost so rarely about actually being with people and more about like, how can those people benefit me? And I got sick of the rat race, man.
I heard that. Yeah. And it's so tough, because there's something to be said, like, I kind of struggled with this early on too, right? Like, I don't want to be part of this rat race, but then I think at some point of your life, I don't know, maybe not, maybe I'm wrong. I think I conformed and said, okay, I do have to be a part of it because, I got to live. And maybe that's because I've grown up in San Diego, very expensive place. You were in LA, very expensive place. So you got to play the game a little bit. At least that's what I thought.
You do have to play the game. Yeah. I have played the game. I was freelancing out of a really good post house for a while before they closed up. So, I feel like I was at least somewhat successful in that, but It doesn't mean I liked it. It doesn't mean I wanted it. It doesn't mean I wanted to be part of it. I just knew I had to as a form of necessity to do what I wanted to do with my life. And
Right.
I'm kind of hit the point where I don't have to. Like, I still do on occasion, but like,
Yeah.
I don't have to be there and in everyone's face.
Right. It's like you kind of did your time a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have to sing for my supper. I just, don't got to do it every, like, I don't have to do it as like constantly, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and how did you kind of mitigate that, knowing, like, I mean, I'm assuming I mean, obviously you mentioned you did Fargo sound effects on that, and like, so I have to assume, and I hopefully right, that you love doing sound,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have had multiple stints in college. My first
Mm-hmm.
time was for criminal justice to be a lawyer like the rest of my family, and that lasted very short amount of time. That didn't work out at all. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually I went back and I did the audio thing that I'm now doing. I've always
Right.
had a fascination with sound. I've always had a fascination with everything else. My family was unhappy with this decision. That was one of the hardest things and kind of almost motivated me a little more. Like,
Mm.
everyone there is so like on the same page. It's a bunch of lawyers and rabbis, and there is
Right.
this show business part of like my side of the family. Like, my grandfather
Mm-hmm.
was a comedy writer, that sort of thing. So it exists on that line, but my grandfather was kind of known as a fuck up. And like, my family, who are these like straight laced conservative tie wearing professionals, like
Right.
my cousin Sarah is probably going to be in Congress one day.
Mm.
And here I am, like, I don't want to follow in those footsteps. I don't want to do all this paperwork. I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be something I want to do. And I've always had a fascination with sound. I've had a fascination with music. I've had a fascination with the human voice, especially.
Yeah.
You're wearing that Stranger Paradise hat.
Mm-hmm.
I tell the story on occasion because it's quasi embarrassing because this was not a good movie. But the original Final Fantasy movie, The Spirits Within. Did you ever see it?
Yes, I did.
Not a very good movie, but even then,
Uh-huh.
I'm like watching this going, wait a minute, that's James Woods, but he doesn't look anything like James Woods, but I recognize that as James Woods. And hey, that over there is Steve Buscemi, but he doesn't look anything like Steve Buscemi, but he sounds like Steve Buscemi. And it just sort of got fixated in my brain how to make that work.
Right.
So like, I've always been fascinated by it, always been interested in it, and I was just always too chicken shit to pursue it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then after I did that time at the Rochester Institute of Technology, learning learning lawyer shit, and I couldn't anymore. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't even the one who finally figured this out. I had a professor named Sam, and I do not remember this guy's last name, and I really apologize. But at one point in his life, he was like the DOJ head for like computer investigations or something. Like, he was right on the forefront of what computer crime was. And he pulled me aside. He's like, Galen, you're good at this, but you hate it. Get out now and find something you love.
Right.
And let me tell you, that got right in my head and did not leave.
Wow.
Finally, I worked up the courage to say, you know what? My family's wrong on this. I'm going to do what I want to do. And went to college for audio and graduated second in my class and went on to have a pretty solid career.
Yeah. What was like, I mean, was that just itself like the turning point for you? Was there anything else to it?
I mean, that was the moment I decided I needed to get out of law. It took me another few years to finally pull up my big boy pants and get into audio and finally take that leap.
Yeah.
Was there any one? I mean, that was the big turning point, but like, I'm stubborn. I don't turn on a dime. So it does take a while for me to like wake up and go, oh, I need to do a thing.
Yeah. And it's funny because we kind of started this off a little bit talking about like how you kind of have to like do your time and play the game a little bit, which you're kind of doing. But I think to truly like be happy in what we do, it's a little bit of both. You got to play the game a little bit, but also really find and do what you love.
Yeah, and I just realized, and I'm deeply sorry because you probably just got a bunch of echo. I was still on live speakers there. Some sound guy I am.
Well, luckily I didn't hear anything. It didn't come through. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I'm good at setting up things to prevent bleed, but just throwing that out there. Oops, I apologize. Go me. I try to be smarter than this. I have a podcast of my own called the Music Arcade Podcast. You've been on it a couple times, I think. And, before that, we were on another podcast. And I make this mistake a couple times a year where I just forget to put my headphones on.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, yeah, he doesn't need headphones. That's cool. I don't know. A lot of people don't. Most of my people, since they're not, most people I've had like don't have podcasts and stuff. So I think you're probably one of, if not, you're the second one actually that kind of has like an audio setup ready to go. Because I've got my last guest actually, he does podcasts too, so he was good on it. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, just kind of coming back to that. Yeah, like what do you think is like the balance from that of like kind of playing the game, doing your time to live, but also like following your passions and like not like conforming too much. Like, how do you find that little sweet spot?
One video game at a time.
Yeah.
You laugh, but that's the honest answer is like, I just need to set time aside for myself and de-stress.
Right.
And decompress and just do something that no one else can tell me is wrong. People will try. I recently, I also stream a lot, in fact. And I recently did a run through of Power Wash Simulator.
Wash Simulator. Like,
this game is actually like really, really good. I'm not even joking.
I'm very interested. I'm gonna have to watch some of your VODs of this now.
I hope it's still up. It was a while ago, but
okay.
I can always come back for more sploosh. Someone actually had the temerity to tell me I was playing it wrong and tried to gatekeep, of all things, Power Wash Simulator, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you?
Like, those games are made literally for fun.
Yeah, this is a game literally to chill with, and you're telling me I'm playing it wrong. Go get a life.
Yeah. Okay. Explain to me a little more about this Power Wash game. What do you do in it?
You have a power washer. You clean stuff. I really don't know how else to explain this. There's various stages, various maps, various nozzles. It's just Power Wash Simulator. You go around, you sploosh, things get clean. It's satisfying.
Is there like graffiti you like clean up and stuff
graffiti,
like that?
There's grime, there's dirt, there's all sorts of weird stages. You get everything from like a random house in the suburbs to a penny farthing to a giant amusement park to a freaking UFO.
Yeah. Oh man, I love it. A UFO?
Yeah. A UFO.
Like the exterior or interior?
Exterior.
Yeah. The aliens ain't gonna let you inside that thing.
Okay, so
clean the outside.
They actually said right out of the gate, oh, this isn't an alien invasion. We're actually time travelers from the year 3000. Hi.
Okay.
So not aliens, just future humans.
Future human UFOs. Okay. I like it.
You know what? I talk about this game. I laugh about it so much, but honestly, the writing in that game is way above average. Like, it shouldn't be. Power Wash Simulator is not a game that should have like good writing, right? You throw yourself into a level, you clean, you win. I would be perfectly satisfied with that game. But throughout the levels, you get these text messages and like news clippings, and there's actually like a really kind of fascinating internal like timeline to this game that kind of elevated it a little bit. Like, I was very surprised at the writing in this game.
Yeah. Oh man.
It shouldn't even have good writing. Again, I would be perfectly satisfied if it had no story whatsoever. But the fact that they went that extra mile and made it fun and made these fun characters who text you throughout the levels is just, it just adds to that little bit more.
Wow. So there's a story. I pictured it as literally like you power wash one thing and then you move on to the next level, like no text, no story.
You'd think that. That's not the case.
All right. Wow. Yeah.
I really do enjoy and recommend this video game, and I'm not the only one. It is very popular for a reason.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested in this too. You as a streamer. So it's a fun game that you do to chill out, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of the games that you play, you're streaming, right? Which in its own is a performance.
It is. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. And I do occasionally take nights off when I'm like, I'm just not feeling like talking to the camera and engaging with the audience right now. And when I'm in a bad mood, people can tell, and it's not as fun. But considering that I just moved to a new state, 3,000 miles away from my last one, it's kind of really the only social interaction I have with people I regularly like know.
Right.
So Like I kind of make it a point to continue to do so, mostly, as a measure of, keeping my own brain intact.
Yeah, keeping yourself sane. How do
Yeah.
you make sure that it's still like chill while you're performing? Because a lot of people would think that performing in its own is like it's not chill, right? Like you're turned on, like you're going, you're up.
I mean, I feel like being on the chill side is kind of part of my brand, and I use that with deep quotations because I don't really like put on that much of a performance. I'm really just sort of myself, just snarking at games.
Right.
But I how do I keep? I mean, honestly, streaming is my way to chill.
Yeah.
And even if I'm playing like more intensive games, generally speaking, that's how I decompress. That's how I unwind. So it just sort of works out. I don't really know how I do it. I just sort of am like, well, it's time to play video games now, and I do it with the chat open and I talk to them.
Right. I think in at the end of the day, we do call it a performance, and some people do, and
Yeah.
some of them probably treat it as one more than others. But
yeah, there's absolutely people who play characters out there. I'm not one of them. I play myself.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, but I mean, it really, when you want to break it down on a granular level, I mean, it's really no different than inviting your friends over and playing video games. It's just they're online now with you, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm able to talk with them and joke with them and snark at them and laugh at their stupidity.
Yeah, I love it.
I have a couple of real bad punters in my Twitch chat. It does give me a bit of a headache.
Oh man, you said punters?
Punters. Oh yeah.
What does that mean?
They make bad puns. What do you think it means?
Punners. Okay, I thought you said punters. I was like, punt? Like, what do you have to like punt them out of the chat? My bad for mishearing that.
Not often.
Yeah.
I actually have kind of like my audience is snarky, but not disrespectful. So I've been able to like, I've been able to at least cultivate that. Like,
right.
I don't want that toxicity around. Again, I do this to chill. No. So like, I just make it a point like, yo, this ain't cool. Don't do that. And if someone's stepping out of line, I'll tell them. And I don't, one advantage I have is I don't care about my subscriber review numbers. I don't do this to get famous or anything. I do it just because it's a way to unwind. And that gives me a little more freedom to be a little tougher on audiences.
Yeah. If there's someone that's just not doing it, then it's bye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I've had to do that on occasion. It's not too common, which is nice.
Yeah. And hello to your cat tail.
Yes. My Ginger, I have missed her. Yeah. So when I moved, she couldn't move with me immediately.
Right.
And this was actually a fairly deep kind of stressful thing because I had to like really work to get her new vet certifications, and Hawaii has a really like serious animal control policy that is very strict and very specific. So like they do not want rabies on these islands. Ooh. So like I had to go through all this sort of stuff and jump through all of these hoops. Today is, what is today? Wednesday. Saturday was when I finally got her home.
Oh man. After months, three months or so, right? You said you've been there for 3 months,
give or take. Yeah. Wow. Beginning of last time I saw her was the end of June.
Yeah. What did she do when she saw you? Mad or happy?
Well, she started off freaked out because she's in yet another new apartment after just spending the night at a freaking government quarantine facility because the plane came in late. So what she did was she went into my kitchen, went, oh, there's food, there's water. Oh, go out to the little catio, as my friend Furiel calls it. Oh, there's the litter box. Oh, hey, look, there's a bed. I'm going to go under there and hide for a while.
Okay.
A few hours later, she started peeking her head out and exploring, and then realizing, wait a minute, I know this chair and I know this office, kind of.
Right.
And it took her a little bit, but she's basically back to her normal cuddle monster self now. She's still a little skittish, and she really doesn't like the new vacuum I bought, but generally speaking, it took her a shorter amount of time than I was expecting to acclimate. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. Nice. We all love Ginger.
She's a fuzz.
Yes, a nice little fuzz. My dog's at, oh no, he's not at my feet. He moved. I didn't even notice him move, but whatever. See you later. Sephiroth. Who's also on my shirt. Here's a
the real Sephiroth. Shinra background. Yeah, you're all FF7'd out.
Yeah, I try to get a different background as well every time that kind of reflects on my guest in a way. I mean, obviously
Are you
I
calling me
mean,
just a gigantic Final Fantasy nerd? I mean, I am, but I feel like I'm being subtweeted here now.
well, I mean, I am, but I mean more so
Yeah, I
because
know.
we met through Final
We
Fantasy
did.
Brave Exvius's community event,
We
which was
did.
awesome. Yeah. There's not any good FFBE backgrounds, which I did try. I did look for a few of those. I don't have a hat either. I do have a pin. Why should I put this pin on when
I
I still
I
have
feel
it?
like I have a hat. I might have a hat.
Yeah. I got
Not
this
in here.
pin.
It'd be in my bedroom if anywhere.
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah,
should
yeah,
put
yeah.
this on.
I think I have that pin somewhere.
Yeah.
It's in one of my FFBE bags. Probably
Yeah.
from that giant fan festa that was in Long Beach that one year.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so. I still have a bunch of stickers from that. I should throw some on here. But man, that's cool. Yeah. That's so cool that like meet someone at like a random event and then we just become friends online and like I
Skip
said,
ahead 5 years. I'm at your wedding.
yeah, yeah. You came to my wedding. One of like what 3 or 4 friends that went.
I went in the height of the pandemic. This was October
Yes.
2020. And I'm like, my friend says he wants me to stand. I'm going to stand. Let's go. I will wear a mask and I will deal with this.
Yes, yes. I know. That was great. Yeah. So I want to come back a little bit earlier. So you mentioned when you were in law school, that your professor, he said you were great at it, right? But you hated it. Now, then you go over into your sound career. I don't know if that's the right word for it. Sound career,
Audio career, I
audio
think.
career. That's probably a
Audio
better
career.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
My degree is in audio production.
audio production, yes, and you're great at that too. Like I'll bet. But
I mean, I'm not bad.
yeah. So what's the difference though? Like, do you think how do you feel your performance in one field was compared to the other? Like they say you're good at the other thing. How are you still good at it, hating it?
Well, believe it or not, there is one thing these two have in common, and that's creative thinking.
Ah, okay.
In the law, you have to be able to make creative arguments.
Right.
So you have to be able to think outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, I have a knack for that.
Right.
When it comes to audio, it's very much the same thing. How do I make sound X into sound Y?
Mm-hmm.
How do I make a bowl of ramen sound like someone's getting torn up? I'm
Yeah.
not even joking. I use ramen for viscera.
Wow. I'm trying to think about how that sounds, and I'm getting some things in my head about it. Yeah. Wow. So you've used a bowl of ramen to mimic someone getting torn up. That's cool. How do
Because it's
you?
all squishy and liquidy, and you play with it with your fingers with the mic like right up on it, and it really does sound like guts.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. What are some other cool audio things you've done?
Oh man. Back in college, there's a lot that I can't talk about professionally because it's under NDA. But
Sure.
back in college, I could definitely talk about this. We had a project for, I forget which class it was, but it was a teacher by the name of Kirchner. It was a group project.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to take a trailer. We had to cut out every last bit of sound, and we had to replace all of it. But not only did we have to replace all of it, we couldn't use any library effects. So we had to record and edit every single effect, blurb, voice, everything ourselves. And because me, Clayton, and John were a trio of just masochists, we did a battle scene from Game of Thrones.
Oh, Jesus.
We did a couple scenes from the Battle of Blackwater.
I love it. Oh my God.
So we had to figure out how to do a battering ram in the Foley booth. A whole bunch of random sword sounds. We had to record all the ADR, all the voices ourselves, line it all up, modify everything. This was just a giant thing. And we had to come up with some workarounds like that battering ram. We took a trap door in the Foley booth that leads down to a sand pit, just dropped it really hard and edited the crap out of it.
Right. Oh man.
We had like ladder climbing. We would just bang some sticks together and just edit that. So like, I'm really kind of underselling. We probably, for like a 2-minute scene with voices, we probably spent about 60 hours perfecting this.
Wow. Yeah. Man, how do you prepare for stuff like that?
Oh God. Good question. You just get your call sheet and go, all right, I need to do this, 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 and this. How do I do it? Let's brainstorm.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Man.
times it's quasi ambush. Like when I was working with Smart Post, I mentioned Fargo. Those were for specific episodes. I didn't work on the whole season, and I was only one part of a 25-person group, all of whom shared the one nomination.
Right.
So I need to be clear, I didn't solo any of this.
Right. Right.
But even then, generally speaking, we only know we're getting an episode of anything a week or so in advance.
Right. So you don't have a lot of prep.
No, it's not like the movies where the sound people are actually usually fairly involved from the beginning. It's like you'll do an episode of this show, then you'll do an episode of that show, and then this other show needs dialogue and blah, 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 blah. Like you're bouncing around all over the place. It's never consistent. So
wow. How do you kind of keep cool in all of that chaos? Because it sounds like chaos.
it does sound like chaos, but really you just start developing systems like real fast. Like you start learning, okay, this engine sounds the most average, so I can use this for just about every car on the planet that doesn't have a specialized engine just by taking that engine and pitching it.
Okay. Yeah. So
like
you
stuff
kind of
like that. You start
that.
filing away little tricks you can do.
Ah, nice. So do you just have like some kind of like library of sounds that you can just
yeah,
use or whatever? That's
I have
freaking
like
cool.
4 hard drives full. Are you kidding me?
Nice.
Every professional sound guy worth their salt is either constantly buying audio effects from sound ideas or something, or they're going out with field recorders and a pistol grip and being like, oh, that's a cool sound.
Yeah.
I mentioned my podcast. I've had a few cases where like Eddie bangs his microphone or something, and just the way it reverberates is the wrong word. That's the wrong word. But the way his mic stand sounds, I've actually isolated that sound clip and used that as an effect.
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, you absolutely build a sound library. You'd be insane not to.
That's cool. Do you one time for one of my, I've got this NFT project I'm doing that I need photos for because I'm a poet, I'm not a visual artist. I'm a poet, but NFTs need visuals. So I just walked around downtown taking pictures of random things that I might be able to use. Do you do that with sound? You just walk around and like record stuff?
Absolutely. Not on this phone, unfortunately, not on my Pixel.
Right.
But on my old iPhone, once upon a time, I actually had like an XY field recorder attachment I'd stick onto the end of it. I literally just hit a record button to be like, ooh, that's a cool sound, and just point my stick at that bad boy.
Wow. That's cool. I'm fascinated by all this. I don't know why I haven't talked to you about it before.
I don't know why either. As you can see, I'm like getting animated. I really love talking about audio.
Yeah. Yeah. What about like working with teams over there? How do you do that?
I mean, generally speaking, everyone kind of stays in their own lane. Like of a given day, one person will work on Foley, one person will work on music mixing, one person will work on library effects of X, Y, or Z, one person will work on like hand passes. So generally speaking, everyone just kind of does their own thing and leave it to the mixer to put it all together at the end.
So that's good. So you never have to like overwrite anybody's work and be like, nah.
Very rarely.
That's good.
Usually you just sort of go like, if we're here, we're this far, we're probably pretty professional and we're not going to make egregious mistakes. Not to say they don't happen.
Right.
One of the shows that I was contracted to, however, briefly was 2 out of the 3 NCIS series. The one we didn't have was Los Angeles. That's through another studio. And I remember watching an episode of Los Angeles where someone flat out missed a sound effect when it went to air. It just wasn't there. The guy was like messing with his gun. You could hear him sliding into the thing, but when the slide came in, there was nothing. There was just no sound there. And I found myself rewinding that scene like 4 times. Like, did I miss it? No, there's just no effect. They forgot to place the effect. And somehow no one in QC caught this and it went to air like that. Good job.
I wonder how many people actually noticed it when it aired.
I'm sure very few. I'm sure there were some. Like there are people who are just so like every little bit of continuity, just super pedantic about it. It happens.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
There are people who absolutely noticed it, and not just sound people either. But
I'm sure.
But I'm sure that wasn't the majority.
That's a cool catch, though. You just go through life noticing sounds more than anyone else, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I will talk about it. I'll be like, ooh, that's a cool frequency, and ooh, that's a cool like vibe.
Yeah.
And one of the people who inspired me was a voice actor. I mentioned I was very inspired by the human voice. There's a voice actor by the name of Jennifer Hale. And she told the story about how she fell off a horse once, and she made this like really guttural like ooh sound as she landed. And her first thought after that was to memorize how she did that so she could replicate it in the ADR booth.
Oh,
And I'm
that's
like,
cool.
that is so pro. I love that line of thinking, and I want to kind of try to do that for myself.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, I think that's what happens when we're so passionate about something, and that's kind of why I'm thinking I asked that question earlier of like, which did you perform better at? And I think a lot of us can kind of have like mindsets of being high performers and have skills, but I feel like when you're passionate about something, it's easier to perform high because we're just kind of always naturally interested in it, or kind of doing it in a way, or learning more about it.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. How intentional are you about it though?
Please define the question.
Yeah, intentional, like do you ever how much of an effort do you make to go out and be like, I'm gonna try to gather more sounds, or I'm gonna listen to sounds?
Never.
Yeah. It's just that natural to you.
Yeah, no, I refuse to do that. That's a way to make my job boring and tedious. I won't.
Yeah.
I have the equipment with me that if I need to record a sound, I can.
Right. You just let it happen.
I just let it happen. And for the most part, that has worked out well. Hi, Ginger.
Yeah. There she is.
There she is. Ginger, could you maybe not hi? You've noticed I'm talking to a friend and decided, yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's like, there you go. Nice. So
okay,
what
Fuzzball.
what about early on though? I mean, you've been doing this a while. Like how much practice in a way did you have to put in to get to where you were?
Oh my God. Just even beyond college, I kind of got thrown into the deep end.
Yeah.
So when I first got brought on to freelance with Smart Post Sound, I was mostly just there as an audio tech and kind of a journeyman, right? Like I was there mostly to apprentice and learn things. But right when that happened, a competitor flat out closed. So all of a sudden, a bunch of contracts went everywhere.
Oh, wow.
And that was like, all right, we're short on editors. So, hey, Galen, you're working sound effects for the final season of Person of Interest. Good luck. Okay.
Oh, man. And how'd that go?
Very, very scary. Because, like, if you're on library effects, you're not probably going to go out to a shooting range and live record guns, which means you're doing a lot of gun sound effects, which means you are like every bullet strike. You will learn to hate bullets. You will learn to hate bullets in this job.
Oh my God. Why is that?
You have to place 80 gajillion of them per episode.
Yeah.
And it's not just the bullets. You got to do the shell casings, the bullet strikes, just everything. It's just like all of these little details. It's just so many. And eventually you're just like, are we done with the bullets yet? Oh, it's been a 2-minute scene. I've been here for 6 hours. I'm going to take a break.
Yeah.
Eventually you get used to the workflow, but I don't think I got as much practice as I should have before getting thrown into it, but I managed to pull it off. Like I didn't get fired. They kept bringing me back.
Yeah. There's so much precision involved.
There is
with that, and that's why I hate editing. Actually, I was admittedly extremely annoyed that I had to actually edit my first podcast episode a little because the guest he lost his connection.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I had some dead air for a bit, and then he also had like a little delay. And I mean, it was technically the easiest edit in the world. All I had to do was cut, right? But because everything's in one, but like for you're over here like getting like different channels of audio that you have to like sync up, and then with video, and like a bullet is like, that's precision there. Like, how the heck do you get that down?
I mean, literally, I hate to kind of reduce it, but when you've had the training, You literally look up a timeline and go, well, there's the flash of the muzzle on the camera. This is where you put this sound effect. Okay, we actually see the bullet strike this one, so that's where you put that effect, and you just line it up.
Yeah.
It's I hate being reductive, but like the interface of the program itself isn't actually that hard to learn.
Yeah.
This is half an art, half a science, but once you master the science, it becomes more art than anything.
To me, it's patience.
It is definitely patience. And I am not a very patient person, which is one of the reasons I'm glad I kept getting shuffled around. Because if I was just working the same show for 5 years, I would have lost my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And
like
it's funny.
Every show, every project has its own challenges, its own set of requirements that keep things fresh, and I think that's actually very important for me.
Yeah. And it's funny because I'm like I consider myself a pretty patient person, but not patient enough to edit audio.
Shit, you couldn't even do one cut without complaining. Give me a break.
No, I did two cuts, and it was awful. It was terrible. I mean, I hope I never have to do it again.
Oh,
That's why your cat, she's not getting edited out of this. Like this is all in, man.
Well, your audience just met Ginger. She is a fuzz. She is settled down under the desk now.
Good. Yeah. And I also think that's pretty cool in terms of like getting shuffled around, because I don't know, to me it kind of helps as well, like things not get stale. I think I agree with that. Yeah. What about how many people do you know that have been on like the same show for like 15 years? Or like how many shows
a lot
are
with
there?
Composers,
right?
Like scoring people do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like generally speaking, you'll have one person score an entire season and possibly an entire series of something.
Yeah.
That happens with Foley more often than not, though that happens with Foley mostly because there are so few like professional Foley artists. It's a very, very small community. So
what the heck is Foley?
Foley is live effects. That's the how do I explain this? Well, it was named for Jack Foley, and basically what it is exactly what I was talking about before. You're doing the effects live. You're not pulling them from a computer library. You gotta run on the ADR booth and you're banging some swords together, or you're making footsteps happen, or you're doing a bunch of cloth or hand passes, stuff like that. And that's all on a live mic, recorded directly to a track and then sent to a mixer.
Why do people do that instead of just like library?
It's a million times faster.
The
professional guys, they have an hour-long episode. They get a Foley pass done in an hour.
Library takes way longer.
Oh yeah, because you have to take each individual file and place it individually. If it's 5 seconds for one effect, there's still a whole lot of effects that go into your average television show, especially an action heavy one.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
You can see how that adds up quickly.
Yeah. NCIS, so many bullets. I haven't even seen it that much, but I know I've seen a lot of bullets in it.
It's a cop show. There's a lot of bullets.
A lot of people get a lot of bulletproof vests and
which makes a different sound when it strikes, than concrete, then metal, then shooting out someone's gun, which I've had to do a couple times.
Yeah. Oh man.
Those all have different impact sounds, so I got to keep that in mind too. I can't just do a generic one. People will definitely notice that.
Yeah. Even like the type of gun, like a shotgun versus a handgun is.
Oh yeah, those sound totally different. Admittedly, a handgun sounds more like a real life shotgun, and a shotgun sounds more like a real life howitzer. Like we call that the coconut effect, and we call it that for an old school Foley trick: make horses' hooves with coconuts. But those don't actually sound like horse footprints, right?
Yeah, you're right.
But that people got so conditioned to hear it that way that it became the standard.
That's funny.
Same is true with like TV guns. They're a million times louder than actual guns.
Yeah.
But you've got to do it that way. Otherwise, people are like, but that gun sounds so wimpy. I've done that. I've taken actual like live fire of my own 45 caliber that I took to the firing range, done a recording of it, and put it on a track. And my boss was like, what is this gun sound? It's so thin. I'm like,
it's a real gun.
Like, there's only so much you can say at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Audiences have certain expectations. You got to play into those too. That doesn't mean there's no room for artistry, but you know.
Right. It's like It's like, and I think this happens less, but when you see the shows and they're driving a car like this, you're like, who the hell drives like that?
No, that's a great way to get into an accident, but that's what people expect. They want to see that motion.
Yeah, because otherwise you ain't driving, you're just sitting still.
Exactly. And sitting still is boring. And people don't watch TV to be bored.
Yeah. Oh man. So how does this move that you made to Hawaii kind of help you to be more authentic in terms of yourself?
I mean, let's be chill the hell out. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Again, people in LA were so just for themselves, and it was so hard to like connect with anyone.
Yeah.
And you always had to wonder if there was an angle. Like here, there's no angle. There's just chill, so I can breathe. I can walk down to the local coffee place, say hi to Max, and buy a white chocolate and green tea scone.
Yeah.
I had that
sounds
today.
good.
That was really good.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
I could take a ride around and just enjoy on the bicycle, on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about who's trying to play an angle on me and get one up over on me because no one's really doing that.
Yeah. And it's so weird how like different environments, I mean, it's technically,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same country, but like the environment,
Oh,
in
yeah.
order to survive, you kind of have to do that in certain areas. Like LA being one of the most expensive cities to live in, you kind
And
of
the
have
home of the
to,
entertainment industry where everyone is like, I will be huge.
yeah.
And let me tell you, that is a hard. The fact that I don't want to be huge almost gave me an advantage because I wasn't playing that game.
Yeah.
I was playing a different game. I was playing I want to do this specific job and I want to be the best at this specific job I can be. Everyone else could do their own thing. I ain't trying to be a screenwriter, really. I ain't trying to be a director. I ain't trying to get my name in lights. I'm just trying to get paid doing what I love.
Yeah. And how many people out there though that are doing that in that scene? Like, how many do you think are like caught up in like, I want to get big and like have this weird idea about being big and famous that they would probably actually hate if they got it?
My internal instinct is damn near every last one of them. I can't say for sure because it's hard to get an actual read on anybody, but you hear it. Like people are just grinding their asses off and schmoozing and making friends with everybody, just trying to get to that next step, trying to get discovered. That's the word that I'm so glad I'm not going to hear too much about again. Discovered.
People say that a lot.
Oh my God.
Oh man, sorry to my LA listeners if they're out there.
They know it. They're nodding at this right now. They are nodding at this right now. They know it. They know what's up.
Oh man.
I once had a freaking Uber driver. No, not an Uber. Sorry. A Postmates driver. Give me a freaking like business card for this guy's Instagram about being an Uber driver or a Postmates driver, whatever it was. Like, this guy's trying to get famous off of a blog of delivering food to people. Like, that's LA.
Yeah, it is such a weird city of like it's one of the most competitive cities in the world.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. Which I like competition in some ways, but like
in limited doses, competition can help you excel.
Yeah.
At that level, if you're not like totally bought into it or a complete sociopath, you're going to get eaten up alive.
And what makes the difference in those? Like, what's the difference between the people who do make it, who do get discovered, and the people who burn out and just never go anywhere?
There's two things, just two. The first is complete and utter ruthlessness.
Oh my.
If you are willing to just destroy everything in your path, you have a good chance of success. Right. Because that's hard to fight against, especially when you're already stressed out by trying to be discovered without doing that. The other one is just plain dumb luck.
Wow. Dumb luck.
Dumb luck. There's an actress that I really like by the name of Ali Walker, and she's been around. She was probably biggest in the 90s and early 2000s, but she's still around doing work, right? Like she's been a pretty constant grinder. And she just got discovered at a coffee shop one day, and a director's like, "You have a look I like." Brought her into the movie. All of her scenes got cut, but it was enough to get her SAG card. Now she's in the union. And from there, she just started getting work.
Yeah.
Just tripped on over it.
Just tripped into success. Yeah. Do you think it's possible though? And this is a legit question I have, and kind of part of my mission in life in a way is
Okay.
is it possible to make it there without being a freaking asshole and without rolling over people? Like,
oh
can
yeah,
you?
absolutely. Yeah, no, I mentioned it does take luck. It does.
Without luck?
Without luck? No.
Yeah.
No. There's just no way. It's
way.
not what you know, it's who you know. And you're either lucky enough that someone pays attention, or you're like evil enough to get leverage.
On the other end too, I wonder. So what about how much of it is actual talent?
A good chunk of it. Like if you suck, they're not going to rehire you.
Yeah.
Like, but you have to get your foot in the door first.
Yeah.
Like I got lucky. There's that word again. I got lucky in that the guy who ended up hiring me to freelance for him at my post house was one of my college professors.
Okay. Yeah.
So I had my foot in the door because he liked me. He just decided this is a guy I can work with. Offered me, hey, I'll give you some work at Smart Post. Right. Thank you.
Okay. But let's think about that further. I'll fight this. How was it luck, or was it like you did good work in school?
All of the above, but I wasn't the only one doing good work at school. I am the only one from my class doing good work at school who's still in this career, however.
Why didn't he ask your classmates?
Ask him. I have no idea. I literally don't know it. I wasn't about to look a gift horse in the mouth. That's not a question I'm bothering to ask. I'm going to get a job out of college doing audio at a major post house. This is me not arguing.
Yeah. Well, you said you were what, second in your class or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's part of it. I think you were, you're a high performer in that level. I think you're also a high performer because you're passionate about it and you love it. And people see that, people see that and want that around.
I mean, yes, but there's also like you say that, but the first of the class, Raphael, he just does his own DJ work. That's all he does now. Right. He doesn't have these connects that I ended up lucking into. So while talent and drive definitely played into that,
right?
Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that's all that gave it to me, because that's not the truth, and I don't want to sugarcoat that either.
Well, that's good. That's I think it's sobering for me, but you're killing my dream a little bit in terms of that I cannot be an asshole and make it. But I think I'll go with luck. I'll hope I get lucky.
You don't even have to get all that lucky. You just have to make friends with the right person.
Yeah. And in that regard, I'm not saying I'm trying to make it, but you know what I mean.
I get what you mean. I do. Believe it or not, I actually do. And there's a whole subset of people out there. Like the Weinstein phenomenon is big for a reason, because people will do anything to make it. And sometimes that means including be debased.
Yeah.
But on the other hand of that, you have a whole bunch of people like me who were lucky enough to get their foot in the door and have made it from there, largely because they're just consistent performers who are good at their job that people like working with, because they don't cause all sorts of drama and bullshit.
Yeah.
So once you're past that first step is the hardest, but once you're past it, it's a job. It's a straight up job.
Get yourself in.
Yeah, I don't want to make it sound like you need a 1 in a million lottery chance, because that's not really accurate.
Right.
But you can't do it on just skill alone. That's not possible.
Yeah. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I get that. I can get behind that.
Yeah, I don't want to kill your dream and make it sound like this is an impossible job, because it's not. I'm a fucking nobody, and I managed to make it. So
yeah. Oh man, that's cool. But how's the environment help the mental state, man? Just chilling out.
Again, I'm just not nearly as angry as I used to be. I'm not nearly as frustrated as I used to be. I'm not as paranoid as I used to be.
Wow. Yeah.
Like that's a big one. I keep mentioning this entire rat race of people trying to get an angle on you. That sociopathy that some people need to succeed. If I met someone like Max in LA and she was like, I want to learn your name because you're going to be a recurring customer. In LA, my first thought would have been like, what are you trying to do? What is your angle? What is your game?
Yeah.
What do I have to watch out for? Where's the knife that's trying to go into my back? Where's that going to come from?
Yeah.
Here, it's just like, I like this person. They are a cool person and I appreciate them.
Yeah.
And that takes so much pressure off.
Yeah. I've lived in San Diego my whole life, which is to a lesser extent. I mean, some people think we San Diegans are like super chill, and in a lot of ways we are,
I mean,
when
compared to
we're like at
LA or New
home.
York or Dallas, like, yeah, but
Yeah, but it's still like just everything's so fast paced, and nobody's got
yeah.
time for anybody over here. So I've been thinking about trying to get out and as well. And I remember when I was in Washington for a little bit, I was like, oh man, this is freaking, everyone's so chill, and it's just
Washington's
such a
nice.
different vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just came back from New York, your other hometown in a
Mhm.
way, which is also another, oh man, really fast paced place too.
Yeah. That's the fastest city in the world, but it's not as ruthless.
Yeah,
I know
that
that
was the
seems
thing
weird
about
because
it.
that's the home of Wall Street, but everyone there's a lot more genuine. They probably don't like you very much, but they're not going to pretend they do.
And I think that's the key. Like they're real about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Whereas
not like
LA,
someone with a fake smile trying to get one over. They're like, I want a candy bar. Okay, give me $5. Here's your $5. Here's your candy bar. Fuck you. All right, bye. See you next time. That's
yeah,
the interaction.
I appreciated that over there. I
Yeah,
did.
it's genuine. It's rude,
Yeah.
but there's a connectiveness in New York that I think LA really lacks.
There's some authenticity there, and like here I am. Get the hell out of my way.
Right.
I can't tell you.
Exactly.
I was like the touristy of tourists too. I made every opportunity I could to say, "Hey, I'm walking here." I even had one where I was in an Uber coming back from the wedding, and there was like a car in the road that was like sitting, and he had to like go past slow, and I was like, "Hey, I'm driving here." To the car next to us, and then someone almost bumped into me when I was standing at the light. I said, "Hey, I'm standing here."
I hate I hate everything you just said to me.
Well, to my credit, a current New Yorker told me to do it. He said I would seem cool and genuine if I did. Okay, he didn't say that last part.
I think you got trolled there, my friend. I think you got trolled.
Oh man. But yeah, it's funny. Yeah, those two cities they're different. I could never live in LA. I couldn't do it. If you paid me $1 million salary a year, I don't think I could do it. And what I would probably do is work there and like still live in San Diego and just fucking
I mean,
drive
if you're
there.
on $1 million salary, you can afford the commute.
Yeah, maybe I'll
Maybe not
commute,
for much longer the way gas prices are going, but
oh man, yeah, tell me about it.
uh that is another thing that's actually helped my mental state a lot. Traffic is kind of not an issue for me. Not because there isn't traffic in Honolulu. There
Right.
is. I just don't have to be in it. I can walk everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. How big is the island?
The entire island of Oahu is about the size of Los Angeles County.
Wow. What,
Now,
like 100 miles?
not even.
Not even that, huh?
I'm not really able to tell you off the top
That's
of
all
my
right.
head. Let me
It's a smallish island, though.
try to do some math. Yeah, it's not big.
Are you an island boy now?
Kinda.
I'm gonna get you a cameo by the Island Boys.
I don't know who that is.
Really? Oh man, you don't. You're lucky, in fact, and I won't spoil. I won't spoil it for you, but
All right.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a memer. Okay, I'm trying to do the math on this, and it looks like I'm trying to see all the way from Kauai Bay all the way down to where I am in Makiki. And the honest answer is I have no idea because there's a scale on this stupid thing. Come on. All right, let me actually hit Kauai Bay here.
I
That
believe
is
in
an
you.
hour and 5 minutes away, about 40 miles.
Wow.
From where I am on the south side of the island up to the north, far north is about 40 miles.
Not bad. So you can definitely drive up and down. I mean,
I've done it.
yeah.
I was at the North Shore just a few days ago. We were going to the Byoto Inn Temple with my cousin who brought my cat.
Ah, nice.
There's a big Japanese Buddhist temple up there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice little tourist spot, but it's also like, again, chill, vibey, just calm the senses kind of spot.
Yeah. Do you think do you think it's helped your work performance at all?
I got to be honest, I haven't really noticed a difference.
Yeah.
I've noticed my
Yeah.
mental state during my work is better, but I haven't really
Mhm.
noticed my work is faster or slower given the environment.
Yeah.
I think I'm just a little too set in my workflow for that.
Yeah, yeah. You're a professional. But I mean, mental state and everything, that's always a good
It's
thing.
super
Can't
important.
go wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah, if I get done with a session and I don't feel like I need 84 cups of coffee and a hooker to get my stress out, I'm probably doing something right.
Yes. Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Forgive the
Caffeine, man.
vulgarity, but there are some days where I'm just like, this session was awful. I hate it. I want to go to a strip club. I'm not going to, but I really want to.
Right. Do you still have to have you had to fly into LA for anything to any
Not
work yet?
yet.
That's good.
Even before the one of the main impetuses for the move was even before the pandemic. My workflow was largely remote anyway.
Yeah.
So once it became clear that my work was now fully remote, I kind of got to the point where it was like, I don't have to do my job in LA, so why am I still here?
Yeah.
I do a few studio sessions per year,
Mhm.
and I don't see any reason to assume that's going to change. I might have one in November. We
Mhm.
will see. That's still being negotiated, but that's possible. I can do that a few times a year. I don't mind that at all. Give me an excuse
Yeah.
to go see some friends. I may not miss the
Mhm.
city of Los Angeles, but I miss some of my good friends in the city of Los Angeles.
Mhm. Yeah. The friends in person is always
That is a
always something not
big
as fun.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
was so happy when my cousins were out here because they're people I know. So I was taking them all over the island to some cool spots.
yeah, nice. Well, I got to make a trip out there soon too, and I'm
Yes, you
actually
do.
gonna. I'll tell you after we record, but yeah, I'm moving too. Not
Mazel
very
tov.
far, but out of San Diego County. Yeah, I will
Okay.
be moving to Lake Elsinore, and I'll
I
give you some more details on this.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Pretty cool. But yeah, so kind of my last little part here, and I don't know if you have anything, but I always try to give our listeners like a tool or like a mental skill that they can use to maybe either like help them improve performance in what they do, or help them kind of through like maybe a stressful time or a stressful situation. Do you have any like tips of things that you do when maybe you're not feeling your best, or to stay your best?
Um, well, like I said, variety is the spice of life. You know, I've been drinking out of this Gatorade. This is a
Mm-hmm.
strawberry watermelon Gatorade.
Right.
It is my favorite of their current flavor stock.
Mm-hmm.
My fridge only has one of these in there at any given time
Okay.
because I don't want to burn out on my favorite.
Ah,
So I have like 8 different flavors that I get at any one time to keep things,
right.
somewhat different, somewhat interesting, and keep things, from getting stale and old. That's the real trick.
Mm-hmm.
If you're stuck doing the same thing day in and day out, find a way to change the routine.
Right. I love it. Yeah. That's a good tip. And I think that's something I do a lot of. I'm a weird guy who's in like 20 things at once. And you probably see
Yeah,
that a
so
lot.
you're already doing that, right?
Yeah. But I think a lot of people probably don't. And it's hard for them
Yeah, everyone kind of
to
gets into
break that
this
routine.
static mode of wake up, shower, shave, go to work, deal with whatever paperwork the boss gives you, go home, watch Law and Order, pass out, repeat ad infinitum.
Yeah. Because I think even in that, even something that you do love to do can get stale if you
Mm-hmm.
don't kind of have ways to switch things up in that regard.
Right. So I
Yeah.
try not to do the same thing day after day. I'm glad to have different episodes of different shows or different projects to work on that break up the monotony, break up the routine, and give my brain something else to think about. I like
Mhm.
having different things in my fridge. I like eating something different every night.
Yeah.
Um, just taking walks in random directions around my neighborhood.
Mhm. Yeah. Nice. One
Stuff like
thing I
that.
probably,
Just
yeah,
Yeah, just
different
break
stuff.
up the routine and give your brain a chance to reset.
Mhm. Nice. Great tip. Great tip. I probably need to do that more with my rock stars. I have like 2 flavors of rock star I drink, but
You're probably going to get pretty tired of them, right?
I haven't yet. I've been drinking mostly the same flavor. I kind of swap out one every once in a while, but the blue, kind of classic blue, sugar free or low carb Rockstar, it's probably been about 10 years and it's still my favorite. that I've been drinking that one. But then I'll switch things out because I have had others. Like for a while, I had like my second flavor was the white classic one, and then I'm like, I'm over this one now. Yeah. So I think I see what you mean there.
There you go.
Yeah. Nice. Well, now as we get to the end, now is your chance to if you have any questions for me.
I mean, other than this Lake Elsinore thing, which you're going to talk to me about after we record.
Yeah.
I wish I had a question for you. I'm afraid. I feel like we talk often enough that usually I get my questions out then.
I think so. Yeah. That's good. Totally good by me. Well, in that case, this has been a great time. I mean, I really appreciate you coming on. We've had lots of laughs and learned a little bit more about your SoundGuy career, sound production, audio production,
audio career. I told you this like 10 minutes ago. What's wrong with you?
I know. Initially, I started the memeing it by just saying SoundGuy career, and then I actually brain farted out.
I'll take SoundGuy career. I'll take
it.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, tell us all where we could find your stuff, social media, any promotion that you want to give out.
Well, that's going to be the best places to find me are going to be twitch.tv/Galen_Firestone. That's GALEN_Firestone. If you can't spell Firestone, I can't help you. I am also at twitter.com/Galen Firestone, no underscore this time. However, I don't really tweet that much. I also have a Discord. That's probably the fastest way to get in touch with me. I don't know if you have an episode description. Maybe we can leave.
Yes, I will.
Maybe we can have an invite link there or something.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll get all of these links to all of this stuff in the description so anyone can come and check them out. Join the Discord. It's a real fun group of people over there. I hang out there. I probably should hang out more, but
hey, we love having you around. Come on.
Yeah, nice. I love it. Yeah, you could find me at Ryan the RyBred. I have my I don't know if Galen's noticed, but my Twitter handle has been updated recently to reflect more on that. Of course,
I did notice that.
Yeah. If you like the podcast, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us, people from what fields you want to see. We got all kind, I try to get a nice variety on, as I think the listeners have seen so far, of people from different fields. Comment some stuff that you liked, stuff that you didn't. Give me some feedback. Find the podcast anywhere. You could find us on YouTube. We're on Anchor. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. I think we might be on some more places now, and more to come as they approve us. But yeah, thanks for listening. And thanks again, Galen, for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Take care.